Hi, my name's Tony Ridley and welcome once again to another Crisis Leadership and Management Training tutorial. In previous sessions we spoke about the essence and the basics of crisis management. In this session we're going to talk about the frequency and exposure for events that basically qualify as crisis. So we have the pyramid of disruption in basic broad terms, with the base being formulated by the broad majority of routine events. Then as we start to go up the sequence to the peak of the pyramid, we've got significant events, major events which result in sizable loss and or disruption, and then we have crisis at the pinnacle, which is potentially a business ending event, and certainly whole of business in terms of its effect. The distribution and ratios vary from organisations, as we've discussed previously. However, the reality is that many crises often manifest in the routine and the significant events long before they come to a peak and become what is a crisis. And for many organisations, and certainly in planning and prevention, is to have adequate identification, monitoring and surveillance systems in place to ensure that if something does, either as a slow or gradual escalation, result in a crisis, that there's adequate monitoring systems and processes and guidance and qualifying systems to either intercept, prevent, mitigate or extinguish those potential events. However, with a crisis, most organisations are looking at between 1% and 5% of what constitutes a crisis. However, that timeline is not linear. What that means is that it may be in a case of a week, several weeks, over a 12-month period, or it could be over the life cycle of the organisation. Some organisations, or in many instances, a real crisis only ever occurs once, because the individuals, the organisations, the businesses or the environment never survive the first and only instance of its kind. So the reality is you shouldn't be looking at it as something that every 3 months, 6 months or 12 months. It could be something that could be the culmination and the end of a business, a unit, a process, or even individuals. So it's important to note that certainly the role in which that has, but the essence of crisis management is, again, ensuring that in the absence of any planning and preparation, which by definition means that you're going to have far more crises than are required, but it's a unified effort to minimize the impact. Remember, we spoke earlier about the impacts of events that may result in the loss of life, earnings, market share and or future prospects. So it's about the net value of an asset, and assets being defined as the utility derived. So it could be a piece of machinery that doesn't work, a production, a product, financing, people, systems, mechanisms, factories, a variety of different definitions for individuals and organisations. However, ensuring that crisis management is successful, and certainly providing the leadership and guidance, is to ensure that everybody is moving in the right direction in a unified process. In the absence of any documentation to support them, at least they're all swimming in the right direction. Everybody has the same goals and objectives, and it can be worked out along the way. However, and we'll talk about it in more detail, that's the essence and the primary requirements of planning and education and preparation, is to ensure that it's a more instinctive and shortened duration in the evolution and application of such events. So once again, my name's Tony Ridley, and once again, thanks very much for joining us in this Crisis Leadership and Management Training tutorial and education sessions. For more information and similar videos of this nature, please visit www.crisismanagement.tony-ridley.com. Once again, thanks very much and goodbye.